Hello, my name is Goose, and today I'm going to show all you ladies and gentlemen how you can make a Minecraft server, whether this be a Forge server, or a Bucket server, or a plain vanilla server, and the way I like to manage and set up my server and my server worlds. I'll also show you how to port forward, as a lot of people seem to have errors with those. So yeah, we'll get started. So first off, you've got to come into your browser. I like to use Google Chrome. And you're going to go to this website, I'll provide this in the description, called mcversions.net. Now, what this is a website that basically has all the Minecraft versions, both the client side and the server side Java files. So what we want is the server files, because the Minecraft launcher does the client side for us. So for sake of argument, we're gonna do 1.12. It's the latest version. We may as well. See, it just downloads here, just a server.jar file. Save it to your desktop or wherever you want to save it. It doesn't really matter. This website does offer dedicated server support, like this here. But we're going to do it our own way. We're going to do it for free. You see, server.jar is downloaded here, and it's right here on our desktop. Okay, so we're going to create a new folder for this server. Sorry if there's a little cut there, I had a little bit of an error. Basically, if you run this server right here and now, you'll have a fuck ton of files show up all down here. All your config files and your saves will all be on here. So what we'll do is we want to make a new folder, and for sake of argument we're just going to call this server. He says spelling it wrong. And you just want to drag your server jar file into there. Okay, and now just double click the server. This will run the server temporarily. As you see, it instantly terminates because there's this file created here called the EULA, End User License Agreement. Just double click on this text file with whatever you want. You can use Notepad++ or the built-in one, and you want to come in here where it says EULA equals false. Take out false and put true, spelling true wrong, and then just Control S or save and close it. Now double click the server jar file again, and you see it opens just fine. Wait for it to generate its world. There we go, done in 7 seconds. Now, what a lot of errors people have at this point in making the server is the fact that you get a port forward error saying failed to bind to port. You see, normally at this point here it will say failed to bind to port, but I've already port forwarded and it works fine. So now I'm going to show you how to fix that error. Is you come on to your beautiful web browser, Google Chrome. But first off, oops, okay. First off, you want to press the Windows key and the R key on your keyboard, and this little run box will show up. You want to type in CMD. This is the command prompt built into all Windows versions as far back as long enough. And see, from here you want to type in ipconfig. I spell everything wrong. ipconfig. This will show all your IP addresses. This will be your machine's IP address and your IPv4 address, meaning your internet router's address. None of those are important currently. However, what is important is the default gateway. Mine currently doesn't show up because mine's weird, but this is usually 192.168 dot a number, then dot another number. Because I am running on a BT Hub 3, my default gateway will be 192.168.0.254. I think I've got that wrong, actually. I have. My bad. It's 192.168.1.254. I'm a fucking idiot, aren't I? Okay. Now, not all router control panels are the same. They're similar in terms of setup. Yours might be different. Unfortunately, I can only provide a talk through on the BT Hub ones. Most BT Hubs are similar. Mine's Super Hub 3, quite old now. But most of them are similar in this case. Some routers will require you to put in an admin password and a login. The login is normally admin and the password admin, or the password is change me. But mine's already been changed. So, and you log into that. Some will ask you for your actual WPS pin. Some will ask you for your password to actually access your internet. However, mine just asked me for a password because it's already set up. So you want to go to settings, and here you want to go over to advanced settings. It didn't prompt me to log in this time because I've already logged in. Continue to advanced settings. Okay, now I got stuck on this, I'll be honest with you, first time because I went straight to port forwarding, and as you can see, I've already port forwarded here on my computer. My name's Morgan, by the way. Hello. Sometimes with BT they have preset games to port forward for you, but as you can see, I clearly do not. There's World of Warcraft and everything, but yeah. These are default. You cannot actually configure these, so we want to configure our own to open up the ports that we want for Minecraft or any other game this goes for. So in my case, I head over to supported applications here. See, all these come up here. See, predefined ones, you can't actually configure and change these. Again, I've already got mine set up. So from here, what we're going to do is we want to go add new game or application. We're going to call it Minecraft 1 because I already have Minecraft there, and you want to go no because you're setting it up for the first time, or if you've already set it up, it's gone here. You want to go protocol. This can be this is any, and you want to do default ports for Minecraft are 25565. You can change these if you want in the right here in the server properties file, right around here somewhere. Yeah, head server port. You can change this to whatever you want, and then port forward said port. But we want 25565 on all of these. Come on. Like so. And then from here you just click add and then apply. You see, now there's Minecraft 1 here, and that's fine. Now we go back to configuration, and you go select game or application, scroll right down to the bottom, you see Minecraft 1. You then select your device. This can be found on Windows by going onto here, right clicking on computer and going properties. And it's here, computer name and computer full name. We've had a lot of devices connected to our network, as you can see. So we're just going to find mine. I am Morgan PC without an S, and you just click add. And as you can see, Minecraft 1 is there, and then you click apply. Now this applies to any game that requires you to port forward, if the port isn't already opened by the game itself. But here we go, we've port forwarded now, and your server should start up just fine after you port forward. Just gonna stop that for a start to show you how I like to configure my server. Is like so. Okay, so here's your world folder. This is where all your the player data, the dimension data will all be stored. So your play data is in here, etc. This is the world. These are all banned IPs. You can either do this manually and they take effect after stopping and starting the server again, or you can ban people through the console or whatever. Same with OPs. You just opt them. Now, the main one we're going to focus on is server properties. This is where you can pretty much do anything you want for the server. Here you can disable NPCs like villagers, you can turn off animal spawn, set it to hardcore, you can even set a link to a resource pack if you want the server to use a specific resource pack. Same with here as well. PvP, this turns any damage given to another player from another player, so I can't just run it to my friend and kill him if I set that to false. That's useful if you like to kill each other. And the message of the day, this is just a Minecraft server, we can just put it as join me for the time being. View distance, this is set to what the how far the server will render a distance. Again, this can be changed client side, but this is just server side. Here we go, spawn monsters as well. This is spawning hostile mobs. And game mode set. 0 is survival, 1 is creative, 2 is adventure mode, and 3 is something new in the new update. I'm not exactly sure. Then there's difficulty here, 1 being easy, 0 being peaceful, and 2 being medium, and so on and so on. No idea what snooper is. Whitelist is a whitelist is, if you set that to true, yeah, I should probably save that. If you set that to true, this little notepad file here, well, JSON file here, what you put in here is, say you want the server to be completely private, so say if someone guesses your IP address, very unlikely, but it's always possible, you can set specific players to join. Say you really wanted your friend join, you just put friend name here, or whatever. Whatever your friend's name is, you just put that there. Or you can leave it open, it doesn't really matter. Or you don't want a specific person joining a server because you hate them. That's fairly common. You can just set a whitelist on it. But that's pretty much all I change. I keep most things the same. Level type, you can change that to amplified, super flat, or whatever you like. Prevent proxy connections. This is, say you IP ban somebody, they can just go ahead and use a VPN or a proxy, whatever you want to call it, and then they can just join your server because you've not username banned them. If you set this to true, that means people using a VPN cannot join the server. It's fairly useful if the server's a big server. You get a lot of players. Not sure what query is. Level name. Here's where you set the name for your world to be generated. So I could change this to generate or whatever you want. And when you start the server, it'll generate that world, and that will be the folder name for the world. I just rearranged them. Oh, hello. Let's just fix that. Enable flight. This is so. This is for if you're going to use a mod like a jetpack mod. A lot of the times people get kicked because flight isn't allowed unless it's creative where it is allowed, and they get kicked for that. So if you got like a jetpack mod or someone's getting kicked for flight even though they're not actually flying, you want to turn this to true. But that then gives the opportunity for cheaters to fly around in your server when not being in creative mode. Allow nether, again, allow nether. Generator settings, that's something to do with terrain generation. And you can set the seed, I believe. Yes, level seed, you can just set the seed and so on. That's how I like to set up my server. Now, to join your own server, you can either use the IPv4 address provided here to join your own server, or to join your own, okay, see, preparing level generate now, as we set here in the server config file, we generate. Now to join your own server, you can either use your IPv4 address, which will be shown using, with command prompt, or you join through localhost, just the text as in localhost, no spaces or no caps or anything, like so. Localhost, just like that, in the IP box. Okay, so now we'll try and join it. Latest release 1.12. We will try and join our own server, because why the hell not? See, you go into here, you go into multiplayer, You see, my server, join me. This was the message of the day we set earlier. Just double click on join. And you see, you're able to join your own server. As you can see, it's all fine and dandy. Works just fine. Now, if you try and use commands in this server, you'll see I won't be able to set myself to creative because I do not have permission, despite the fact that I own the server. So to fix this, all you need to do is go into your server console and just type here OP and then your username. In this case, mine's Fried Goose. I just type in OP Fried Goose with an underscore, and you see opt, and it's OP'd me, and it'll come up in the server chat down in the bottom corner there. And now I can go into creative and fly around and do whatever the hell I want. And yeah, so that's how I like to configure my server. By the way, if you're OP'd, you can also do /stop in game. He said typing in the caps. You can do /stop and it stops the server for you. Now, how I like to organize my server worlds, because I play with some of my friends. We play different worlds, like Skyblock, Skygrid, or a modded world, etc. And there's a vanilla world. So this is the original world here, world, and this is the second one, generate. They're both separate worlds. And how I like to organize my worlds is just create a little folder on your desktop, call it whatever you want, so you remember it. I like to call mine server worlds. And in here, I just like to create a backup of my worlds every time I stop and start the server, give or take if I have to restart for some other reason. And you can separate these into different folders, like world 1. Say world down here was a Skyblock world. I'd rename that and I'd call it Skyblock. I then move that into there, and I'd rename that to the date and the time. And yeah, so that's how I like to configure my worlds and my server. And it's also how you port forward it. So it's relatively simple. Once you've done it once, you can mainly do it again without having to look back at a video. And once you port forward it, it's always port forwarded until you change your router, whatever you want to say, or it gets reset, or etc, etc. There's also one more thing I'd like to add is a lot of people don't know how to allocate more RAM to a Minecraft server. This is done by simply creating a batch document with certain arguments that open the server up with, and it lets it use a specific amount of set memory. The server won't always use that memory. It can only use up to. So it doesn't directly allocate that much, it allows it to use that much. See, if we just start the server as just this executable jar file, it opens up, and I believe it starts with about 1 gig of RAM. But some that might not be enough, especially if your world's quite large, you've got a lot of players, there's a lot of entities, etc., or it's modded. A lot of times it can go over 1 gig of RAM, and that can cause lag for all the players and can even crash the server. So to allocate more RAM to this server is you want to get a new text document, name whatever, it doesn't matter, it gets deleted after this. You open it, and I have this in the description, but I've got 16 gigabytes of RAM, so you can check how much RAM you have by going on the Windows key, going over to the computer and right clicking and going properties, and your installed RAM will be here. See, I have 16. So what I do is I allocate 4 gigs to Minecraft client side and the server that I have. So these arguments here allow Java, which is the runtime that the server runs on, to allocate 4 gig of RAM to this specific jar file here, which is the server. You can rename this jar file to whatever you want. It really doesn't matter. So we can name it to 1.12 server. We can name whatever we want. It doesn't matter. But in this notepad file here, we want this notepad or batch document file to start this jar file here. Now, to do that, this will be in the description, by the way. You copy and paste these arguments into a notepad file, and here is where your server name will be, which is this file name here, with the .jar extension on the end, as it's an executable jar file. So this is called 1.12 server. So I'm allocating 4 GB of RAM, and these arguments work in megabytes. So 4 GB in megabytes is 4096. To work out how much megabytes you have to convert to megabytes to gigabytes, you open up any calculator program. You can use the built-in one, and say I wanted to allocate 2 GB to Minecraft. You do the amount of gigabytes you want to allocate, and you times that by 1024, as there are 1024 megabytes to a gigabyte, and then just press enter or equals. See, there are 2048 megabytes in 2 gigabytes. So if I want to allocate 2 gigabytes, I come into here and I just type in that number there, which is 2048. He says wrong, 2014. 2048. And same in this one, 2048. I like to keep these the same. Not entirely sure what does if you change them, but yeah, I just like to keep them the same. This will start the server up with 2 gigabytes of RAM. As again, you can increase this and decrease this. It doesn't have to be exactly 2 gigabytes. It can be 1.5 gigabytes, which will simply be 1536 megabytes. That's 1.5 gigabytes. So what you do now, you don't press save. You go file and save as, and you can name this anything you want. I'm just going to name it start, but the extension has to be .bat. That's a Windows batch file, and you want to come down here into text documents. You want to click this little drop down menu and go into all files. See now all the other files show up. You want to go start.bat and then save. You can now delete this file here. Now this batch file will execute a command prompt style command that will open up this jar file with those specific arguments that we set here. Now you can always edit this by right clicking and going on edit, and you see you can change it through here, and you will have to save. You can just save that normally. You don't have to save that as a batch file because it would do it itself because it's already a batch file. Okay then. Alright, when you're naming the server, you cannot have any spaces in the server name, as a space in this command window, well, notepad file, indicates a separate piece of a separate argument. So if we wanted to have this, if we wanted to name this as 1.12 server, we'd have to come in here and rename it so that there is no spaces at all. You can always add an underscore, like so. So 1.12 underscore server, and you come into here, and you have to add an underscore. So there can't be any spaces within this, otherwise it doesn't open, as I just made myself look like an idiot, as I did just then, as it wouldn't open. So now you can double click your start.bat file, and as you can see, it opens up the server in this command style window, unlike the Java window it came up with before. As you can see, it started it with 4 gigs of RAM either side, and it's opened up the server jar file. And in here, this is where you'll execute all your commands. Now there's no slashes or anything, so if I wanted to OP myself again, he says doing it in caps lock, you go OP fried goose, like so, and you can say OP fried goose, and if you want to stop the server, you just go stop. No slashes, no nothing, you just type it as it comes. And then any key to continue, which means it closes. So that's how you allocate more RAM, configure your server worlds, and port forward your server. I hope you enjoyed, hope it works fine. Any questions, leave them in the comments. I'll try and answer them. If I hope I can help in whatever way I can. I'm not exactly a professional at this. Ooh, a crash report. I'm not exactly a professional at this. This is just something I like to do for fun, but I'll try and help as much as I can. Thank you for watching, and I hope it all goes well for you all. See you later.